Welcome to the All Metal Mode podcast with your host, Michael Hare. Tune in every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern with co-host Gypsy Jules, and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern with Matt Hoffman as we talk to guests, discuss metal detectors, equipment, and everything treasure related. Feel free to join in the discussion in the chat room during the show, and please, if you like what you hear, we'd appreciate you taking a moment, hit that like button, and share the link with your friends. We hope you enjoy the show. The All Metal Mode podcast starts right now.
Hey everybody, this is All Metal Mode Podcast, and you're listening to your host Mike Hare and Matt Hoffman. How's it going, Matt?
Oh, it's going, man. I don't know. I've been under the weather a little bit the past week or so, or 4 or 5 days, but yeah, it's going good otherwise.
That's good. What'd you get for Christmas?
This year I got 3 lumps of coal. I was hoping for my standard 2, but I did pretty good. I ended up getting 3. So, yeah, I definitely can't complain. And, yeah, what I got I did get an air fryer. I was telling you about the air fryers.
Yeah. Cool.
And I will say, so far I'm impressed. I haven't had a good chance to really put it through its paces, but I put some French fries in there the one day, and I'll be darned if they didn't come out fantastic, looking just like they came out of the fryer. So, yeah, with no oil at all, that's quite amazing. Even, so on some stuff, maybe you add a little bit of oil to just to, like, coat something in olive oil or something and throw it in there, and then the stuff seems to come out great. So that's a great alternative, I think, and I don't need any extra oil in my food as it is. So, yeah, it'll work good for me.
Right. I got a really cool Christmas gift. Tom Dunn that we hunted with in Ohio, that we kicked his butt metal detector.
Oh, yeah.
The big loser.
I remember when he was the big loser of the day.
Right. He sent me, I don't know if you remember him having it. He had that, it's like for military ID, and it goes around your neck, and it goes, it's got little, like, 2 zipper pouches too. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
He sent me one of those for Christmas, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. That was like that was my Christmas there, and my lumps of coal. If you guys out there didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, give me a call. I can hook you up. If you got to buy your own Christmas, I'd be more than happy to sell you a metal detector. I carry anything and everything you could possibly want. Get a hold of me or call me, whatever. You been out metal detecting much?
Yeah, I've been trying to get out as much as possible lately. We've had the weather to do it, although yesterday it pretty much rained all day, which was a bust. And I've been hitting some farm fields, and I've been doing okay. I've been doing real good on a lot of different sizes, flat buttons, and a lot of different, all pre, like, 18, and a lot of them seem to be mid 1800s and earlier, which has been nice. I found a nice, like, bullet-shaped button today that's pretty cool. Well, it's more a bullet-shaped exactly, but rounded, like, you get a nice round ball today, too. I was pretty excited about that. But, yeah, it's been okay. It's been treating me all right in the farm field, so.
What do you mean, a round button? Like half round?
Yeah, it's like, I'll post a picture of it. It's round. It's like completely, it almost, like if you look at it from the front, you might think it was like a ball. Like
yeah, those are pretty rare, man.
Yeah, no, apparently the ones that have the holes in them excuse me, are a little more rare, a little less common. But yeah, it's still a nice button. Yeah, so I've been having a good time getting out. It's nice to, I've been off a few days here and there for Christmas break and holiday break and whatnot. But man, I tell you, it's still when you get stuck sitting in the house, it makes it a long day for me. I'll tell you that. But
Right.
so yeah, I've been thankful I can get out lately, and the weather hasn't turned south on us yet. In fact, yesterday evening I went up to my neighbor's house. It was like going on 11 p.m. It was 62 degrees
Nice.
outside in my house. I mean, that's unheard of. Like, I can't tell you when the last time I remember it ever being that warm on New Year's Eve. But so it's been nice. Yeah, definitely. The ground's not frozen, giving me plenty of opportunity to get out. So yeah, I can't complain.
Nice. When you're going to post that, you sound horrible tonight, man. We got to get you fixed up for next show. It's
I know. Unfortunately, Skype won't open on my computer for whatever reason. Then I was missing my audio cable. I don't know if my son walked off with that or where that possibly could have went, because it goes to my computer, so it should be at my computer, right? Like, oh, Jesus, I don't know.
good old Skype.
I don't know. Yeah, Skype, that program's interesting. It seems to be hit or miss on whether it works properly or does a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's always a mess, man. I swear, I hate it. I haven't been out. I hate to still be a crybaby, but I'm in a place now I can definitely go metal detecting. My leg's better, but good Lord, was that thing a mess, man. I never would have thought a spider bite could turn into such a thing. I mean, just amazing to me what that turned into and how long I've been just down with it. This past Saturday was 3 weeks, and last week I still wasn't comfortable. It was still leaking just like 3 days ago, still draining. And still, I mean,
That's terrible.
I wouldn't say it's sore now. I mean, it's a little bit around it, but not bad. But, yeah, 3 weeks, and it just, oh man, that's 3 weeks since I've been to the hospital. I dealt with it over a week before I went to the hospital. So, I'm going to tell you guys, if you get something like you start getting pain like that, and go to the hospital. Oh my God. I waited too long. I absolutely waited too long, and that was...
Hey, I just want to say, who told you should probably go to the hospital? Oh yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. And you kept saying, no. I'm like, I'm telling you, man, you better.
Yeah, I wish I would have listened, and but I didn't, and it is what it is. Live and learn. Yeah, it's my skin's all peeled away from it, and I mean, just in the last week, it was still swelling up and stuff, and now it's finally scabbed over completely. I haven't had any drainage. Well, I say that, and it'll now and then I'll get a little blood coming out of it. Like, yeah, man, that's
messed up, man. That's really crazy.
Yeah, like in Texas, this is the time of the year I want to be metal detecting. This is where the weather's decent. Like, it's not, 1,000 degrees out and stuff. But it's been over a month since I've been out. Crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I would be losing my mind.
Yeah. So,
well, let me ask you this. Since I've been out quite a bit, I've got a lot of time on the impact lately. Actually, we had the cruiser out the other day, too, come to think of it. But do you find, Mike, did you ever notice or seem to find that the impact with one of them smaller coils, that they'll overload real quickly on stuff that you wouldn't expect it to overload on?
I never remember. I didn't switch to a smaller coil relic hunting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now I was having trouble with the if you remember right, with the amphibio overload with the small coil.
And see, I'm wondering if that it doesn't hold true on some of their machines with their small coils in general. If you get that sensitivity or your gain up, if you keep it at like 75, it doesn't seem to be a problem. If you get up around 85, it's really wanting to overload on a lot of stuff. And I'm talking like good target, a flat button, or but see, I don't know. I can't speak for the standard size coil, or if that's just a limitation of them small coils. Sure. But I was having some problems with that. But I mean, nothing that would prohibit me from detecting. But it was kind of, I was not able to really wrap my mind around what was the ultimate kicker in making that. And that was running in a few different programs that would do that. So it was in the DI3-4 and in the, I can't think of the VL or VFZ, whatever 2, whatever that program is. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what's causing that, but it seems to be more prevalent on the solid elliptical coil. I don't know so much for the other elliptical coil. That double D coil it didn't seem to really do it on, but it definitely likes to do it on that solid coil. But I do find that solid coil pretty deadly out in the field when it's real heavy iron. So yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe you gotta pick and choose what you're willing to accept or not accept because it definitely works well. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't never used a small coil on that relic hunting, but boy, that makes sense because I was sure having trouble with overloading.
Yeah, I remember you saying that about the amphibio, and then when I started noticing this on the impact, I thought, man, maybe it's not the machine, and maybe that's just the way that them programs with them small coils. Maybe if you get that gain too high, that it just tanks it out. I don't know. But
curious, I don't know.
But I don't know. But I guess overall, I guess the more important thing is it didn't negatively affect my ability to recover good targets and be concerned that I was missing stuff in an event that it overloaded. But because I mean, basically, I was going to dig those targets anyhow if there was any question in my mind. And I a lot of times like to dig stuff that'll overload out in the field just because, I don't know, I find a lot of interesting things, maybe not of any real value to anybody, but it's exciting stuff for me. So,
what have you found that overloads?
Well, like it's a range of stuff. Like, I mean, anywhere from, maybe some square nails all the way to I had flat buttons overload.
Mm-hmm.
But the flat buttons that overloaded were basically, I don't know, half an inch in the ground.
Yeah, stuff that's real close to the surface.
So it was really close to the surface. Now, obviously, some of the iron that overloaded, I would have expected to was, just big chunks of stuff like horseshoes, stuff like that. But I don't know. It almost seems like even it doesn't matter what the metal or material is, or even so much the size of it, but how close it is to the surface and with a relationship to how high you have your gain set on that machine. And that seems to be what really triggers it. But I mean, there's a variety of different things. So I'm still really trying to, I guess, to understand what's going on exactly. And, so I can have just a better idea of, be more familiar with that machine and how it reacts to certain situations and targets. And, so under certain settings. So, but yeah, it was just funny that you said that because I'm like, man, I just noticed this on the impact. But once again, any of those signals that if they overloaded like a consistent overload with a consistent swing, like I was going to dig it anyhow. So it wasn't anything that was really affecting me either way. But I don't know. I can't say that I've seen that happen. What's strange is I didn't have that happen in any of the house sites I hunted with the impact. I didn't have it do that. So I don't know I don't know. I guess I got to get some more time still on that machine to understand why it does that. Because I did hunt some older house sites and I pulled some good stuff out of the one house site for sure with that small coil and cranked up the sensitivity to about 89. I try and stay below 90 if at all possible. I don't really like to get any higher than that. That machine definitely will get way squeakier than I love to run a machine hot, but that thing will it'll get downright wild. But so yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't know. I didn't have that problem in a house site at all, but only when I was in with a lot of iron in the field sites where it seems to really show up. So I'm not sure. I can't comment one way or another why it does that, but I thought it was interesting that you had mentioned the same thing, and I noticed that on the impact as well. But the kicker is with that small coil, because I haven't had that happen with the normal size coil.
Well, and here's something else. If I was hitting shotgun shell heads like crazy, were overloading, and yeah, they were less than like 2 inches deep.
Yeah, that's another thing that was overloading for me was a shotgun shell.
Yeah, and that one area we were finding shotgun shell heads like crazy, and they were overloading. So that's interesting because I'm obviously not field hunting now back in Texas, and was trying to figure out. So that might be a problem across the board on Nocta macro detectors with small coils.
And that's what I'm wondering if maybe that's not potentially a software issue that just there's something maybe needs tweaked in the programming across that with those small coils. Because, like I said, I did not see that at all, never once on anything with the standard size coil that you would have expected. I mean, obviously on a target that should overload, you would expect it, and you dig it out, and it's a big, massive piece of shit and whatever. So you understandable. That makes sense. But yeah, so I don't know. I'd be interested to read up on that and see if anybody else has come across the same issues, or how they get around that, or if there's some known tweaking that you can do to prevent that from happening.
Bill said, "Can you lift your coil and get it to read correctly?" I never tried. I just got used to it, and
I did.
And
I did try that, and that was my go-to attempt to figure out what the heck was happening. Yes, you can. If you lift that coil up and keep getting further away and swinging, eventually you'll come back and it'll read properly and stop overloading. And in fact, that's how I determined in 2 cases where I dug flat buttons that I was going to dig it for sure, because it sounded good from a bit distance away, probably 6-7 inches away. It sounded fantastic. But then once I got down to, back to ground level, it's back to overloading. But in both cases, when I dug those, they were flat buttons. So, and the same thing with the shotgun shell heads. Now, what I did notice is when you lift away from it with a target that should overload, obviously, it's just still erratic and all over the place and still overloading. So, it definitely seems to make a difference just bringing the coil away. So, I mean, it seems to be an easy enough way for me to just do that real quick and just give it a quick check. But, like I said, I was going to dig those targets anyhow for the most part in some of the places I was at, just because, I don't know, I'm curious by nature what some of that stuff is when it's, not only overloaded, but even just big iron signals. I'd like to dig them just to see what the heck it is, because I don't know, I might come across some nice horseshoes or an old axe or hatchet head or something like that. So.
Bill said that stinks, and overloading 7 inches off the ground, I would assume a deepish cannon may walk. Yeah, it's something that I have contacted Nocta Macro about and talking about, because that is for sure an issue. When you switch to I thought it was Amphibio because I haven't field hunted with the multi-cruiser, but Steph was running the smaller double decoil on the cruiser, and I don't think she was having trouble. I'll have to ask her.
That's interesting.
Maybe she was, because she was
out the cruiser and tried that.
I remember she was saying she was overloading a lot, but I thought, remember when we walked into the field?
We walked past that, across the drive and into that first, that
Yeah,
that field
she was
from
overloading like crazy over there. And I just assumed at that point we were both just overloading a bunch, and I thought we were just in some big iron, which didn't surprise me because that was like the mill and the outbuildings to the mill. So I kind of suspected it, but now I'm wondering, Oh, she just said, yeah, it overloaded a lot. I thought it did. So yeah, evidently
I'm beginning to think that that's something they need to possibly tweak some of those settings with them small coils. There may be some underlying issue in there that needs tweaked in the programming.
Yep. That's a problem.
Once again, I will say this: I didn't find that to be detrimental to me being able to detect. It was
but it was a pain in the rear.
It's annoying. I will say that. But it didn't negatively affect the outcome of my detecting trip. So, all in all, is it the end of the world? No. Is it a deal breaker? No. Is it something that, if there is a known issue that should be addressed and fixed? Yes, obviously. But I can at least live with that.
Which coil were you using on the impact?
When I switched from the one that's like a double D elliptical, or it's a double D coil, and that one didn't seem to really have that problem. But when I went to the one that was solid, it's not the holy moly, I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Concentric?
It's not the concentric. It's still like an elliptical shape, but it's solid across the bottom, and it's smaller than the other one I was running. And that coil that's the one that seems to really like to overload a lot.
Okay.
But in the cornfields, with the way that some of those people have cut their cornfields and chopped those off, that coil's more effective for me and seems to work a lot better, because you're not getting corn stalks stuck up in between the coil because it's just got a solid bottom. So, that trade-off was, I think the issues I was having with it was worth the trade-off for me, just for the ease of detecting with that coil as opposed to the double D elliptical.
The Nocta macros are really fast. They're great for relic hunting in fields, but yeah, smaller. Do me a favor. Next time you're out field hunting, take some quick videos on your phone. Nothing good. Just a minute-long video I can send to Dealic. And try your other coils, too, your small coils. Try that concentric, because I'm real curious, because Steph and I were both overloading. And let me look. Let me look at what coils. I know I was using the 7-inch concentric.
Well, I'm not sure maybe that thing is a concentric coil. I'm not sure, but
no, it's a double D. It's like it's 7.5 by 4 double D. I had the 7-inch concentric, and she had the 9.5 by 5 double D. Yep. So
like I
yeah,
said,
that's something.
there clearly may be some correlation and issue there. I did, like I said, the bigger thing I think is I did notice that once I bumped that gain, I was bumping the gain down a little bit. It seemed to really knock that out and keep it. But see, that's still an issue because if you got a spot where you could clearly hunt with a gain of like 85 to 90, you should be able to.
Yeah.
It shouldn't overload on you for stuff like that. Like that would be an issue to me. To have to crank your gain way down doesn't seem to be the right answer. But I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
The gain is the factory gain is 70. I knocked mine down to 50 and was still having issues.
Okay, see, that's one thing I didn't try was knocking it down and seeing. Well, I did try it. When I knocked it down, it seemed to take those issues away for me. But I was having to get down to like 65, 70. And then it started not becoming an issue for me anymore. So, I don't know. It was almost like it was. What's weird, too, is that some stuff that I would have expected should have overloaded didn't. Mm-hmm. And yet some of these really little small items, shotgun shell heads and stuff like that did. So, I don't know. I guess I need to do some more scientific investigation work on
do that and get me
that.
some little 1-minute videos.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, yes, please. So that way we can send off to her. She'll look at them and make sure it gets taken care of. Mm-hmm. They really like videos. She likes videos, so. But yeah, I'm sure it's something they can tweak in the programming or something, I would guess. Because they are killer.
Nothing more than that.
They are killer field. They are great for hunting the fields and relics. I think they work great in the iron. They handle it well. They're fast, deep. They're perfect for that. Other than that, overloading on the smaller coils.
Yeah, I was getting some really good depth out of those coils. Them small coils, I was quite impressed. At some of the stuff I pulled out at some pretty deep depths and, straight spot on. And it's so funny because I hear so much more with that machine because I can hear so much more stuff that I feel like I want to dig so many more things than I would ever even come across with the CTX. And I'll hear something and I know damn well it's not going to be good. It's got that whiny scratch to it and it's coming across and you're like, man, I know that's not going to be good, but I'm going to dig that anyhow. And I dig it and it's junk like I knew it would have been. But, man, it's just, it's so different than the CTX, how much more you can hear, coming through with, it's just obviously a faster machine,
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's way better than like an E-Track or CTX. And I like them, but and they can even do good in fields, like in Ohio where there's not mineralization, but I really in my opinion any of the Nocta macros, the cruisers, the Amphibio, the Impact will smoke an E-Track or CTX. Bill's asking if it has a threshold. It does in the one mode, but not a mode you'd want to use in a field. No adjustable threshold. Scott Dubé's in. Hey Scott, how's it going? Scott oftentimes listen. He's over in the UK. Nice to see you in, buddy.
Scott!
But yeah, so I don't know.
Scott.
So I'm real curious. Scott's running a multi-cruiser, and Scott, I'm way curious. Do you have problems with? Do you switch into any smaller coils, and if so, are you having trouble with overloading on small signals that are shallow? That's what we're talking about right now. Yeah, kind of. I know he's very successful with his cruiser over in the UK. He hunts in the what's that mode? I haven't used it yet. be a good one. I don't even know where we'd use it with all the iron we have in the field, but that extra depth.
Oh yeah,
That EUD extra underground depth.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
guess
it. Like I haven't found a spot that would work really good for that yet, but there's too much iron. But it's probably cool for a bunch of his sites.
Yeah.
So I let the property owner at this farm field, because there was a few sites on his property that so he was all interested in coming out and just watching us detect. I said, man, I got a pile of extra detectors here. Come on out and detect with us. He was all excited. But one day I let him use the AT Pro. He wasn't a fan of that. I did let him use the multi-cruiser the other day. I brought that with me, and he said, man, this machine's way better than that other one you let me use. And I'm like, well, I don't know. The AT Pro's a good machine too. I happen to like that as well. But yeah, he much preferred the cruiser, and he found a few flat buttons. So I was happy. I was definitely happy.
Hey, I got a question. You brought up a good question. I want to ask you this. You like the AT Pro. I like the AT Pro.
Yeah.
Would you pick that? Would that even be in your top 5 for field hunting, for relic hunting in fields?
Probably. It'd probably be closer to number 5.
Right.
It'd probably make a top 5.
Yeah.
Only because it's an easy machine to use. It works good. I'm not saying it's perfect for heavy duty iron, but I've pulled some nice stuff out of pretty heavy iron with one of those. So
yeah,
I think it can get the job done. Do I think it's the best machine to use? No.
Right.
I would say it's every bit as good as E-Track's deadly in two-tone Ferris, but it's every bit as good as a 30-30 in a field where there's a lot of iron. If not better, for sure, in my mind.
Yeah, and here's why I bring that up. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm not going to say names. Yeah, we got Kimberly Dubé and now that's awesome. Kim, I got a funny story about them when we get done. It's something I love. So I was talking to somebody the other day who has several mini detectors. And they've been field hunting with their AT Pro. And I'm not knocking an AT Pro. And I know Bill is very successful with the AT Pro in relic hunting. But like the detectors this person has, like it really surprised me they chose the AT Pro over a lot of their other detectors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I was just surprised, and he said, well, it's getting the job done, and that's what matters. I mean, it doesn't matter what you use as long as it's getting the job done, but, I think that's also a good, what works best for you might not work best for me kind of thing, and how it's always, he's got an 800, he's got he's got a couple whites, he's got an MXT. He's got a MX Sport. Yeah, he's got a bunch of. Trying to think what else.
See, that would kind of shock me up against potentially the 800 or some of those other Weiss machines because, it would shock me over the 800 because I know that the 800 is fast. You can't argue it's a fast machine. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen people use it. It's got some speed. It definitely has got a quick recovery speed and from target to target. So, hands down, I think it's no question faster than the AT Pro. But once again, if you're super tuned in and honed in on that AT Pro, then I get it. I mean, I get it. I mean, maybe you missed something here or there, but maybe you're going to miss a lot more switching to a different machine that you just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Bill said,
I would, like I said, I'd keep it there.
I'm not saying I wouldn't use one, but it's low on my list. Now, to go hunt a park, a school, a yard, it's close to the top. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's hard to go wrong with one.
I would still say that I would rather the weight of 800 versus 80 Pro, nothing else. Anyhow, yeah. I'm sorry. I was just reading this stuff coming through there.
After using Noctas and macros where you can turn the iron volume down, like I can't even imagine going to anything else. I love the ability to run them wide open and turn the iron down. So it's hard for me, but like I love an AT Pro, and I know you can rally hunt with it successfully, but like with all the detectors he has, it really surprised me that that's what he went out with the other day, and so I don't know. And then he hunts with his max. He took his max out. I think he took his max out one day, and then the AT Pro another, and I can't remember which one he did first. And he liked the AT Pro better because the max is chatty, and so I don't know. It just surprised me.
I am in love with, if nothing else, by far. I am in love with turning the iron volume down on the max and macro stuff, and I'm super stoked about that Rudis with that feature, that new version of the Rudis with that feature basically. So that should be really cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, that makes that's one thing with using the CTX for me at least, or even the E-Track, is that just constant pounding in your ears when you're just in heavy iron and it's just banging your ears up left and right. I mean, it's painful. But when you can just crank that thing down to like a 1, and oh man, it's like it's so nice to do that. I love being able to do that. I think that's a great feature. I'd like them to really incorporate that on. I'd like other companies to really start incorporating it on machines, because that would be, if the CTX had that would be awesome. Well, CTX would need to be faster too, but
yeah. Just man, I have no desire to ever swing an E-Track or CTX, even though I love them. Just the weight. Oh my God, the way I like lighter detectors. Lighter the better anymore. So we've got Scott and Kimberly Dubé in chat. I got to tell you about it. So they've been on the show. They were on many months ago. I'll get them on the UK show since they're both in the UK. But if you watch any of their videos, Scott, tell me what it is in the chat, please. I forget. It's Clodhopper Scott and something. But if you guys get a chance, first off, they make some really cool videos, and great, obviously they're hunting in the UK, find some really cool stuff. But Kim, like, Scott finds some good stuff, but I swear it seems like Kim's always finding the better stuff. Yeah, Clodhopper Scott and Huntress Kimmy, I think. Clodhopper and the Huntress Kimmy and Clodhopper Scott. Sorry, but on YouTube, check them out. But like, there's been some videos I've seen where she's like found something really cool, and Scott's filming, and you can tell, like, he just wants to like cry because she found. I mean, like, they go out all the time, and it seems like she finds better stuff. Like, I don't know if she's like the luckiest person in the world. I don't know if he's the unluckiest. I don't know what the deal is, but I get a kick out of their videos. It's funny. Yeah, Scott just put a link to the YouTube channel in his in the chat. Check them out. They're fun, cool videos. Hey, if you guys can, post a video where Scott looks like he's ready to cry because Kim found something else cool. Oh, it's funny. Ken said, I bet Kim swings slower than Scott, just a guess. Yeah, it's I get a kick out of their videos. It's funny. For sure. Have you seen any other videos, Matt?
Yes, I have. It's been a while, but yes, I have.
Scott said it's not really fair sometimes, right? I feel for you, buddy. Hmm. And you know what? We all have those days. I mean, you know you've been out detecting with somebody and they just kick your butt and there's really no reason for it. But it seems pretty consistent that she kicks his butt.
Yeah, Mike's used to that.
Yeah. Yeah, except that day that we tied because you got lucky. Found a dime halftime right on top of the ground.
No, I'm
your
still
CTX went over it and you just saw the shiny.
I'm still not even going to say that we tied. I'm going to say that you technically won with the Flying Eagle. So, I mean, I will concede and take that loss, and you can have that victory because I still think in my mind that's a better find.
I don't think so. I think you said it's more rare. The Flying Eagle, but
yeah.
How many people do you know that have found half dimes? Man, I don't know many. They do not come up often.
Yeah, that may be true, but based on the rarity of the coin itself, Flying Eagles shouldn't come up that often either.
I've got one half dime. I've got 3 or 4 Flying Eagles. Yep.
Yeah,
story.
But see, I think that's an anomaly. That's like the 8 gajillion Civil War tokens and store cards that I found. I think that's just an anomaly in what's really going on for most people. I don't think most people are finding that many Flying Eagles. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you feel like we're even because I feel like you beat me out. You also found that button with the heavy silver gilt still on it.
Oh yeah, I did find that too.
Yep. So.
Oh, sorry. So anyhow, I was going to tell you the other day I found that I called you saying I found a button that when I first pulled it out of the hole, it was stuck upside down in the plug with the flat side down, and I walked over to the guy that owns the property, and I said, man, I can't get a good look at it because it's still got stuff all over it. This might be actual silver coin. So after I got it out, I realized it was a flat button, and I did some testing on that, and curiosity got the best of me, and I may have put it in a little worse condition than it was to start with. However, It is silver plated. And it's way thicker of a silver plating than I've seen on anything ever in my life.
Oh,
it's crazy thick.
Back in the old days, man, they plated them thick.
And it's what's interesting is, so it's either glued or by some means fastened, attached. I don't know. So it's almost like they had like a regular smaller flat button, and then they had a silver plated disc that's super thick with silver plate, and somehow adhered it to that flat button. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I've not seen one like it before, and there is writing on the back, but I can't make any of it out. But it's silver on the one side, and then the back side obviously was like a copper, brass coppery, whatever mixture metal that is. But it was an interesting flat button. I definitely don't think I've seen one of those before. But yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a solid piece of silver on the front, but I gave it a little semi-destructive testing, and it is silver plated, but man, that's some thick silver on there.
Yeah, that's how they did it back in the day, man. They put some heavy silver coating on them. They weren't like nowadays.
Oh, it was colonial. I can't even say that without dying laughing. Oh my! Colonial Gorilla Glue. Don't make me laugh. I've had a massive chest cold for days now, and Every time I laugh, it makes me start coughing again, and it hurts way too bad to cough. Oh my golly!
Kim said she's
Colonial
sneaking
Gorilla
out.
Glue.
Kim said she's sneaking out tomorrow while Scott works, and she's looking for a cameraman. If I was over there,
I'll fly over.
yeah, I would do it for free just to watch you pull some good stuff. I'd be detecting too, but yeah.
So someone brought an idea. Well, someone asked me the other day. They said, "Can you?" I said, it was one of my dealers. He said, "Why can't you hook like a small metal detector to one of your drones?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if that would work, but why couldn't I hook a pinpointer to my drone, fly that thing around, and look for the? But I'd have to have a way to get the audio received back to me. Fly it around and just look for the iron fields. Once I start finding a bunch of iron, yeah, I'm in like Flynn."
Oh,
I'm thinking that's not a bad idea.
you know what that is? You need something that just picks up iron, but a little bit wider, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. I'm just wondering if you could. That would be cool too, because not only could you, but see, I'd have to get the sound transmitted somehow. But I don't know. That's another possible thought that I had going on the other day when he said that. He was joking, of course, but I started thinking about that, and I'm like, well, hey, that wouldn't be bad either, because maybe you're not seeing. When you're flying, normally you're going to see debris, you're going to see brick, you're going to see pottery, you're going to see that type of stuff, but maybe, just maybe, you get a little metal detector action on that too, and oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Hey, you know what would be ideal? Are you listening?
What's that?
That new.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
That new Nocta macro pinpointer, that dive one. It would hang down.
Oh, yeah. That thing would be sweet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I want one of those. I don't know why, but I really do.
You could
it just seems like a really cool.
I don't know, man. If you caught onto something, you would slam your drone down. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of risky.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take that chance sometimes. No, definitely. If it were to get a hold of something, it'd be, yeah, I suppose. But then again, like, you would have a good visual with the camera. So, I mean, if you're flying erratic, I don't know. All I know is that I flew 4 beers over from my cousin's house to my other cousin's house, like a block over, 1 week, a year or two ago with my drone, and it handled it like it was nobody's business. So I'm positive I can stick a pinpointer or two on there or something. I just would need like a super loud speaker hooked up to that thing. I don't know. I haven't got that part figured out just yet, but.
Right. I don't know how you would do that. You don't get any audio. No, there's no audio involved.
No, you don't get any audio because your audio would be just sound of the blade spinning, so it really would be pointless anyhow. Although I did have a drone one time. It was a cheaper one that had audio, and it was cool to listen to the noise that the blades in-bolster detector. That would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Man, that's now as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking, yeah, it just seems like I'm thinking of the most laziest ways to possibly kill him.
Right. Us sitting back drinking a beer while the drone's flying around looking for debris fields. I don't know, using the drone to fly out to places, you don't have any patience. I've noticed when I'm like, hey Matt, why don't you fly out there and look? And you'll fly out, you spend 22 seconds and you're like, I'm done. Like,
Yeah, I'm not a very patient person.
No.
Now, what I will say is this. I was going back through some drone video that I had.
Okay.
And that spot where we found the flying eagle in that halftime, I was able to see that. I was having a lot of interference on my video screen on my iPad that day when I was doing that on the screen, and I don't know why, but I was able to see that clearly. Once I got over those areas, I was able to tell that that's where we needed to be. When I went back and looked at it, like when I put it on my computer and was looking at it. Now, at the time, I was like, I was kind of in a hurry because it was getting late in the day, and I'm very impatient. But the whole concept of flying it around, looking for the iron and checking out the grounds first, definitely works. There's no question that it definitely is effective. So, I saw. Once I went back and actually watched that video, I saw a bunch of stuff there that were dead giveaway indications that was the right area that we were looking for. So,
Kim said drones good for peeking into neighbors' houses. Yeah.
Not my neighbors.
Right.
Man, I got to get some different neighbors apparently.
It is really cool though. Like at one site, I think if you're a field hunter, a drone is definitely worth. I don't know. My mind. A drone is definitely worth looking into and possibly purchasing. The DJI drones are phenomenal, and like the first time I seen one in action, we were probably on 1,000 acres total.
Yeah, that was a big property.
And in probably 20 minutes, Matt flew to like 4 different little hills in the field, dropped down and scanned the ground looking for pottery, glass, brick, all that. And although we didn't find any new sites, it saved us hours of walking. I mean, we're talking 2 different fields, one site, maybe not hours, maybe an hour. And he probably did it all in 15
saved
minutes.
At least an hour.
Yeah, and he did it all in
an hour and a half that we would have been walking around.
Yeah, because it was a big area. And he just flew right out, dropped down low, and slowly scanned. And I mean, you could see the DJI's first. The gimbals are so amazing. If it's stationary, if you've dropped down and you're just hovering, you can. If you knew your rocks, you could tell you could. I mean, it's incredible, and it looks like you're looking at a picture. When he's moving slow, it looks like professional videos. It's incredible, and it was just really neat. But anybody can fly a DJI drone. They are so easy. A little kid. They hover on their own. If you have the set, what's the setting where you pretty much can't wreck it or anything? Did I lose you, Matt?
No, I'm sorry. If you're not hearing me, it's because I'm having to keep muting my phone because I'm coughing like it's going out of style here, and I'm due for another dose of cough medicine, and so I'm keep putting it on mute. And no, if you keep it in the standard, the classic mode, you have your sensors, your cameras facing. So your optical sensors and cameras pick it up, so you can't really crash into anything too easily. If you put it in sport mode, then you can get a little crazy. But in the standard mode, I mean, I've let my son fly it a couple of years ago, and he was probably 4 at the time, and hell, I still let him fly it. Like, I don't mind. I'm pretty not too concerned that. No, I mean, I'm not saying I let him fly it in areas that there's a lot of potential obstacles, but anybody can really fly it. It's not that complicated.
I mean, the DJI, it hovers on its own. If you get out of range, it'll come back to you. It'll land on its own. But even a kid could land it. I mean, the worst thing you're going to do is land it too hard, which is you almost got to be a kid to do that. I mean, it's there. You have so much control, and it's so easy and so forgiving. But I mean, if you pull the button all the way down, it's going to land hard, but you're not going to hurt it. I mean, maybe if you're way up, I don't know. But I mean, it was incredible.
You can't even land it. You can land that thing at full speed, and trust me, I've crashed mine before doing stuff that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was legitimately my fault, and I deserved to have crashed it. And it didn't break. I've crashed it. I ran it into a brick wall doing like 20 miles an hour. I wasn't paying attention, and it still didn't break. And everything was perfectly fine. I got lucky, I suppose. But they're built well. Now I don't know. I can't speak for the Mavic or some of the other smaller versions they have out now. I was using the Phantom 4. So excuse me. Excuse me. But so they're you got to really try and break. I mean, you have to be trying to break them if you want it broken. I mean, it's not just going to happen. So,
right, they are very forgiving, very easy to fly. I mean, 5 minutes with Matt, and I had it down. I mean, it was nothing. It's shockingly easy to use, and so I would highly recommend if you're field hunting and doing that, because I mean anybody, Bill fields hunt, and I'm sure he'll agree and tell you the same thing. His best field sites he found on accident. They weren't on a map. They were gone before the map, before it ever got put on a map. When you can find those sites, that's where it's at. So when you have permission, what I've always done, I've got permission for this 1,000 acres. Okay, I hunted where I know this house was in 1875. Now let's go walk around and look at the other, the high spots and along that back creek and this and that. And it takes sometimes hours. And when you can do it in a drone, and what you can do with a drone in minutes, it's very well worth it. Very well worth it. Barb said she's been listening to the next giveaway. What's that?
I was going to tell you, Mike, that excuse me. I was going to tell you, I apologize once again for all the coughing here, but, there was a spot out near my father-in-law's house that I had mapped out, and then when I got that overlay from you the other day, I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh, yes, he's got that mapped out, too, in the same spot I had it, and there's 3 sites on this dude's property, and he lives 2 doors down from another guy's place I did some detecting at recently, and I had talked to Greg, the guy's place I detected at. Hold on a second. All right, but and I was super jazzed to go talk to this other dude, and he's like, I called him up. I said, hey man, what do you know about this guy that lives 2 houses down from you? And he was like, yeah, he's like, my mom, he's like, I was always told if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound good. And then, he told me some stuff, and I'm like, oh man, because this dude's got some prime time. He's got one spot that sits in the woods, the other sits in this other part of the field, and the other's right in the front field, like 3 super old house sites on that property. And that's not even including the guy's house that's still there. So,
so are you going to try to get permission?
Yes, I'm still going to try, even though he said it's likely that he's like, if that guy sees you on his property, he might shoot you. And he wasn't joking. He's dead serious.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. How can you pass up the opportunity? I'd at least like to be told no.
Right.
So, I believe him, but I'd at least like to be told no. I'm going to stop out there and have a talk with him, and hopefully he doesn't pull out his gun on me and throw me off his property. But
That might be
I can't pass that up.
That might be one you want to call first.
Yeah, I might just give him a shout and see if I can get him to respond to me. I got his number, but yeah, it's like, man, and the thing is too is like the one spot I'm sure is going to be sweet. But he was also telling me, the neighbor was also, the guy's property that I did hunt, this couple houses down, was also telling me that the stories of how that house that was out there had ties to Abraham Lincoln and some other stuff like that, and I don't know the full story, but he's got it all. He had documents about that and stuff, whatnot. But nevertheless, like I said, man, it's 3 beautiful spots on that property, and I'm like, man, of course it'd be the one guy that'll probably tell me no, but I'm still going to give it a try.
You're good at talking people. Let's see you do it.
I feel pretty confident in my approach, so I'll try it.
Yeah. I'd be excited to see what comes of that.
Mike, I'm gonna have to jump off here because I gotta go get some cough medicine.
Let's call it a night, man. I'm tired, and I think Randy's asleep, and I'm in the bedroom tonight and stuff. So we'll call it a night and end it. But hopefully, I'll be getting out Thursday. I feel like I'm finally okay. And the other day I could have gone, but my leg was started draining again. I'm like, maybe I should wait. So I got to get out, man. I'm so tired of not metal detecting. But hey, don't forget videos and stuff for me. I'd like to see, get out in some fields, man. Okay, Matt left us. He's hacking and coughing again. All right, let's wrap it up.
I'm still here, but
we'll wrap it up. All right, thanks for everybody for listening, and sorry we were out for a bit. It's been a lot going on, and yeah, we're back. We'll be back every week. We'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much for tuning in.